Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be getting ready to hop into our grand finals for the Olimoleague number 65. It's going to be between aLive and Billowy. And it should be a pretty awesome PvT, especially given the matchups that we've seen so far with, I think aLive we got to see a couple of really good matches, and then Billowy had a pretty cool PvT as well. So,
yeah,
should be a fun day.
Yep, that's what I'm more excited to see about. As can Billowy take down another really good Terran, because he already took down Keen, who's really. But I'm pretty sure Billowy also won one of the other Olimoleagues.
I wouldn't doubt it, but yeah, Billowy is still going to be very much the challenger in this situation from Africa Freaks. Only won $15,000 in tournament prize pool, of course, compared to the well-accomplished aLive, who, I mean, being on Evil Geniuses and traveling everywhere for all those foreign tournaments definitely helped kind of boost up his prize pool and his results, but very interested to see where this is going to go. In terms of how many times they face off against each other, it's only happened exactly once. It was about a month ago, a little over a month ago in the GSL, and aLive ended up taking the series 3-1, so we'll see if anything's changed in the past month. They haven't really gotten a lot of data points, but first map is going to be New Gettysburg for this. And for those who don't know, the format for the Olimoleague is that the first map is always picked, and there's only 5 maps in the map pool, I believe. So the way it works is a little bit different than most other tournaments. It's not exactly like first map is one player's choice.
I guess I misremembered Billowy winning an Olimoleague, by the way. I should quickly checked. Must have been something else.
All right, well, we are going to be starting down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, on top of the red Protoss player. We already said his name a couple times, but once again, it's Billowy.
In the bottom right, as the blue Terran, he is aLive.
Billowy has always been such a weird name. I always just imagine, because I used to play a game, I think I've mentioned this to you before, a game called Ragnarok Online.
Yeah, and I've talked about how I played it too. And
yeah.
Yep.
You never told me the name of your, like, the guild that your friend was in that played Ragnarok.
Well, I tried to get my friend to ask, and because she didn't remember, and she was like, ask Andrew, which is like her friend, and it never happened.
Man, that was a really fun game. I'm curious if anyone in the chat played a lot of it. Okay, but I only want to know if you played on the official servers. I'm not talking about any of that private server BS.
I don't remember. I don't think I did. I was so young. I remember my main problem was not like I didn't want to pay for it, but that I couldn't, right? Because I didn't have a card and I didn't want to ask my parents. Didn't think they'd pay for it either.
Neither did I. I just stole it.
I'm pretty sure I just put it into a private thing.
Yeah, I feel like everyone and their mom played Ragnarok Online, but only like a very small subset of people actually played on the official server. Well,
yeah, there's that. But I also want to say that, like, I only played it for like a couple of hours because my friends did, and it's I remember it could be very addicting. I could see it easily just being like, like grinding, and sometimes you do feel like grinding in a game, but at the time, man, I had World of Warcraft to play, so
oh yeah,
it was coming out soon, so
I could understand.
It was like around beta, I believe. God, how old is WoW?
2004 or something? 2000.
11 years old? Damn.
I think it's 2004, 2005.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been around the same time.
Yeah. That was a really interesting game.
Why'd you bring that up? Billowy?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the word there was something called a billow. That was literally it. So I always, whenever I see Billowy, I just always imagine like these little wooden trees like chasing you.
Oh, I feel like that's not even unique to Ragnarok.
Probably not. Willows are a thing.
Well, yeah, willows are a thing, but I mean, like, as far as like those attacking trees, I don't remember anyway.
They're called treants.
I always. When I think of Ragnarok, I think of the basically the slimes.
The pouring.
Yeah, there you go. That's what they're called. Yep. They're basically slimes.
They were definitely pretty common. They were like iconic, I guess. But all right, we do have some of the build actually starting to form some semblance of differences from other things that could potentially be. Twilight Council finishes up. Blink is coming out once again. Billowy showed that he wanted to go for this kind of style before as well, I think. If I'm not misremembering the games from earlier today, but just consistently always going for that Blink upgrade. Even if he ends up opening it with more Adepts or ends up warping in more Adepts heavily early on, getting out of Warp Prism with Adepts, it's just always go for Blink. You want to be able to deal with that Liberator harassment or Widowmine drops.
Yeah, you want to be able to control your space and potentially the Terran's space if you can get offensive with it.
Absolutely.
Which may or may not happen.
Yeah, we do have a Widowmine drop coming out.
A single Widowmine. Really the most, like, unimportant. Like, it really shouldn't get any damage. In fact, aLive should just let it go and then immediately boost out with Medevac to make sure the Medevac lives.
Yeah. Well, Immortals being made. I'm always really interested when I see Protospears making Immortals versus Terran. Because I feel like it's one of those things where I almost wonder, I feel like most of the time in PvT, I would much rather have more Observers or like another Warp Prism than I would have an Immortal. Immortals are nice, but it's really only if I'm afraid about being like attacked in the immediate future.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. The Immortal, when it comes out so early, I feel is just easily targeted is its main problem. If they have a lot of bio. Now, aLive didn't go for a lot of bio. You know, he got this pretty quick third base, and he's got a tank, which an Immortal would be great against. And maybe Billowy knows aLive's style of TvP, or, you know, maybe just, I don't know. Saw the factory attributes in the tank, I'm not sure. Get a good look. But point is, neither of them really have to worry about being attacked. And either one, you know, sees that, decides that, and they could get away with a bit of greed. I mean, Billowy going for Double Forge, I think, is already a bit of greed.
Yeah. Got to start up those upgrades, though. Has the resources for it, too. Or at least had the resources. I guess still spending on more workers and everything.
Yeah. I mean, Double Forge and Double Engineering Bay, they're both macroing up, and it's going to be a pretty passive PvT. Especially for Koreans.
New Gettysburg is also one of those maps where you oftentimes, especially after like the early stages of the game, you just don't see this bottom area very much utilized. Nobody wants to move in through the chokes and everything. So it oftentimes does come down to the engagements along this top side area. Oftentimes close to the ramps. I think we saw one of the earlier PvTs where that exactly was happening. But I also want to note that we don't have that forward or fourth expansion obviously being taken yet because there's no fourth expansion yet. But I wonder if aLive is going to go for that. Was aLive the one that went for it last time?
No. aLive hasn't played it versus...
Right, aLive has only played the TvTs and stuff that we've seen.
Yeah, it was Keen. And Keen wasn't the only guy. It's not like it was, like, particularly, you know, partial to him, but he's one of the few. Take that as the fourth base. I really didn't like it. You know, I could maybe see some appeals to it, but I think the other fourth base is ultimately safer. So, we'll see. It's going to be Colossus. I do believe the Robotics Bay on the way. Just Billowy likes Colossus, and it is coming back. And if aLive is going for faster Liberators, then I think it does make sense. They're a counter in a sense. They don't kill the Liberator, obviously, but they are a key part to the composition against Liberators.
Yeah. Warp Prism getting totally denied over here by a combination of the missiles. Oh, even going to load up the Marines on the medevac. It's going to be able to get some good damage done, but Adepts do unload and realize, wait a second. Marines don't do too well versus Adepts, but wow, getting the Warp Prism anyways.
Now they're stuck.
Or maybe they're there to deny the expansion.
Yo, people are going to be taking this expansion more and more as Legacy of the Void develops and as this map gets picked more often.
I'm just saying, like, you get 1 or 2 missile turrets at this island, and you get a planetary fortress, and boom, you have an impregnable fourth expansion.
I think that I do think it's worth it. I mean, there's some people that are taking it as like a sneaky third base, and that's something completely different than what is a like, such a passive PvT where you get a fourth base and even maybe a fifth base, and one of them could be very safe with an island base. But I guess that'll be maybe later on in the meta of this map.
aLive moving forward with the medevac does get sniped off though thanks to the blink stalkers. Loses a stalker but trades out for the entire drop, and just neither of these players have. It's not only just that it's a macro game, it's that all attempts at aggression from both these players have been completely shut down.
Yeah. And luckily, it's not like, a Doom drop was shut down by 5 feedbacks. It is just like a single medevac or a single war prism. So they're still pretty damn even. But aLive taking the same fourth base. There's like certain appeals to forward bases, because this is forward, especially if the rocks are broken down. If you're the aggressor, then you have that point of both rally and defend. And it can be helpful, but it's also like the way that Billy was abusing the force fields around the little pillar in the middle was really quite good, and it just didn't seem worth it for Keen. Maybe aLive will have more control over the middle of the map.
Do you think that the idea is that you control, not necessarily, like the problem was that the army got over to that little pillar by the 4th expansion, and his hope is that he'll be able to control it before the units even move down that ramp at the top side? And if you do that, like, and I think he ended up doing that a little bit, then all you have to do is worry about maybe those destructible rocks a little bit further down south, closer to the 4th. But I think I could see aLive saying, like, I'll just make sure that, like, they don't knock down the rocks, so they don't make it down that ramp. And if they don't do that, then I'll be okay. But those rocks are already getting knocked down.
That's the thing, is that you are hoping to take control when, once again, this is a time where it feels like the Protoss are more often in control. But aLive is getting up to a good Liberator count. He's getting Viking, so that control is going to only last for a while for Billowy. I don't know. I don't think there's any arguing that the other 4th base is safer for your 4th base, but I think there is arguing that, you take the other 4th base that's to the top of aLive's 3rd, and suddenly your natural and 3rd are the ones that are getting pressured, potentially, and maybe that's what you don't want. You want them to actually have to pressure around a planetary so they can never feel very confident pushing in. Yeah. But this is interesting. Doom drop. A bit of a fake out.
Also, at the same time, the Adepts are trying to move in. But this Doom drop could do a lot of damage. The army is very far out of position. 2 Colossus are going to be coming back, but those 2 Colossus are going to be targets more than helpful in any way, as one of them already gets focus fire down. It does go down, but so does the natural expansion. Adepts also doing a lot of damage inside the 3rd expansion as well.
I'm not sure killing a base and all those workers. Oh, definitely not worth it. If all the feedbacks go down, oh my goodness. Oh god.
Oh god, they're going to walk through cannons now though. Cannon's not focus firing down the medevacs, but so many workers have gone down for both these players.
Yeah, and well, Billowy, like, okay, you lose a Nexus. He has a 5th already on the way, and he can easily replace the natural, too. He's banking so much mineral, so much money here. I don't think that was worth it. But aLive hasn't died because of it. It wasn't like it was, like, all the slam dunks, and suddenly Billowy's going to counterattack and win. aLive still has, like, the siege set up with the planetary and liberators. But that was ultimately not worth it, and that will continue to cut aLive's bank. Continue to give Billowy more of a bank as he transfers over into Tempests.
Yeah, I wonder if it was just because both these players are getting so close to maxed out. aLive wants to trade out some of that supply, not necessarily just for having better stuff, but he just wants to constantly be trading out like the Bioforce. And yeah, he is going to be getting up Ghosts, but they're not going to be out in time since Storm is already done. This is going to be the big scary moment. We saw what Billowy can do once he gets up to that big late game composition, but still got to be very careful about those EMPs. We saw what damage he can take when he gets EMP'd.
I was going to say, we saw what Keen looked like when he got Ghosts in that first game, Apotheosis, so it is coming to that point where like both armies could easily kill each other within seconds if there's one micro mistake, and it's going to be, who doesn't make that mistake. Billowy is going to have to definitely get the Tempest. It's no longer a situation where the Tempests are like an additional, like, great, I have them. It's like, okay, you definitely need them. Sniping Ghosts, taking on the Liberators, adding that range. That's where that Planetary is also going to be a little bit questionable because you can back attack it. No medevacs with this means every stim hurts. I don't know.
Yeah, this also means that the army, I mean, the main army right now for aLive is also going to be a lot more vulnerable. Oh god, the storms.
Oh, bye-bye. Yeah. This is, I think, why you do put the 4th base where you do, by the way. Like, this exact same positioning that Billowy tried to take. Is like, I think aLive doesn't want him to be over to the right this far, right? Tagging his 3rd base. But
that's true.
Billowy, you know, he commits to the 3rd base, and he's really quite far away from his own reinforcement point. So he also has to be very careful about doing that.
Well, he does finally get forced back, and this could be a moment of vulnerability over here as the Liberators all siege up, and that's going to lead the War Prism. War Prism needs to get out of there. Vikings come in a bit late to the party. A couple more of these Adepts are sitting on that right-hand side just looking for opportunity, and the supply depot is, or the wall-in's not complete, so Adepts might be able to shade on in. No! Missile Truck goes down just in the nick of time.
Denied. It really is interesting that Terrans are taking this base, but clearly Billowy doesn't want to take that base.
You know, another thought is that with the Tempest coming out, this expansion, this forward 4th expansion, is more vulnerable now, but it's gonna become even more vulnerable when Tempests are in large numbers. So why not try and mine it out while you don't have to worry about the Tempest, and then you could take the further back expansions when you do.
That could be a good point. Like, take it while you can. Kind of mentality. That might be it too. Well,
Ghost getting sniped off.
Both of them have to be very, very, very careful here.
Yeah.
That first army is pretty clumped up.
Oh god, the High Templar are very clumped up too. Big EMP going down on a lot of them. Are there any High Templars that have energy left over? Yeah, they are in the backside though.
Yeah, Billowy a pretty good Protoss lately. Definitely one of the hallmarks of that is having backup High Templars and backup storms. And aLive, I love that a lot of lesser Terrans EMP like that, and they immediately just A-move forward, right? And then that's where the backup storms like just kill them because they've wasted all their energy on their ghosts. I like that aLive was like, okay, you might have backup storms. Let's be careful about this.
Yeah, unfortunately for aLive though, he also lost pretty much every single ghost that he had, so he's not really going to have any additional storms. Vikings are getting some good damage done, but these photon cans are going to cause a lot of problems for him. And also, the Adepts are coming in. The Adepts are coming in from the backside. I think he was looking to go for a flank, but the Widow Mine reveals him. He might end up just losing all of these Adepts. Although he's going to kill off some reinforcements in the process.
Yeah. That's pretty nice. I mean, Billowy is such a huge bank that he can afford Adept, like huge, clearly, huge Adept run-bys and be okay if it all dies. I'm a little surprised that he hasn't gotten a Dark Shrine yet, considering how long this game has gone.
Yeah, that is a bit odd. But here we go. Billowy tries to move to the ramp. He ends up having to back up. Oh, not a good idea. There's a lot of Liberators. And even one Siege Shank sieged up is kind of scary.
It's like the little extra bit, especially if you can focus around High Templars, it should be like a really good Siege Shank.
The Vikings are trying to take on the Tempest, and they're doing a pretty gosh darn good job of it, if I've got to say so. As every single one of them ends up going down, that's a pretty expensive loss. And most of the Stalkers have gone down for Billowy as well, so he has trouble cleaning up those Liberators.
That was a very questionable spot to put his Tempests.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I said this might all go down in 1 second if one of them makes a mistake, but this is actually a slow tumble down for Billowy here, as he just too many small mistakes all at once really decreased his army quite a bit.
Well, Revolution gets thrown down. That's going to be nice for, I guess, scouting out whenever the army tries to move down or push forward. But having lost that, I think it was 6th expansion, kind of is annoying. But again, as you mentioned before, he has a nice bank. The problem is that bank is only going to last for so long. He's already depleted through quite a bit of it. And he's still not really maxed out. He's up against a nearly maxed out Terran player.
Yeah. Another good EMP went down, but still was backed up by Templar, and the Ghost died for it, so... Worth, I'm not sure. It looks like Billowy's gonna have to give up this base, though. He's preparing for it. He's got the probes already pulled. There's more ghosts on the way. Like, if he can't push it back now...
he's giving up the base. There's no way he can defend it now. Now with the Liberators sieging up over there, he needs to run those probes out of there. High Templar is gonna be storming. Skills his own High Templar with a storm.
Oops. That might be all of his High Templars. Yeah, it is. There's only one more left over. At most with... No, I see it. It has no storms.
It'll have one soon, but not soon enough. Oh.
Just be game.
Oh, Liberator is sieging up very, very aggressively, and the Colossus are able to get a lot of damage done. The Viking count is not as high. Oh my god, Billowy charges on forward, doesn't need Storms. He's got Gateway units and Colossus.
Yeah, his Colossus are dying, though, to the Vikings. Originally, they were targeting the Tempests, and aLive definitely was missing Ghosts. We talked so much about Ghosts on High Templars. He needed the Ghosts for the Adepts as well. That was certainly a big thing. But he still took down a lot of very expensive units. And the base.
But I don't know. I feel like Billowy still has an opportunity. He's got a lot of the high-tech units still up. And now, with a lot of the medevacs and everything, and the Liberators, most importantly, being killed off, that means that there's not going to be any more Vikings to deal with those Colossus. So the Colossus, or I should say the Colossi, the one singular Colossus, is going to, I guess, be able to get some extra damage done.
Wait, is Colossus plural and Colossi singular? I thought it was opposite.
Adept shading on forward.
No comment.
No comments.
Yeah. No, the Colossus would have been a good point. Like, yeah, if he had saved 3 of them, that's a lot of extra damage not being targeted down. But with only 1, that is not a lot of damage. In fact, 20% less than in Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good use of your main command center.
Yeah, I think it's starting to spiral too far. And there are some good storms. There's a good engagement overall, I would say, for Billowy. And these Adepts are even going to be able to come in, but there's no anti-air. The Tempests are going to eventually be able to pick away at those Liberators, but I'm just worried about not being able to replace this army, as you were saying before.
Yeah. He has a bank, but he actually can't just... Well, it's a mixture of not having production and also him just not macroing. There you go. Gas is a big problem, yeah. He could be... He probably wants to use the Robos right now, but he can't.
I wonder if it's, like, not macroing, or if it's... He is realizing that his economy is going to be low, so he wants to make sure that he spends that bank on, like, High Templar and more Tempests, which are going to take longer to reproduce, but... Well, these Adepts, they've got to do some damage. They're on 3/3 with +1 shields, and man, I've got to say, it's working out quite well for him, but the Colossus goes down, and so does most of the army. GG gets called. aLive takes game number 1 in a very back-and-forth 20-minute game.
Yeah. Very nice. aLive, looking so on point today.
Seriously,
Last night.
Playing super well today.
Yeah. As it is the finals, we're going to go ahead and go to a quick 2-minute commercial break. So see you guys soon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in game number 2 of our grand finals for the Olimoleague number 65. Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have the red Terran player from Africa Freaks and up 1-0. It's aLive.
The bottom right, as the purple Protoss, it's Billowy.
And I did want to give you guys advance notice that our lovely, lovely moderator, who is freaking fantastic for BaseTradeTV, Riomar, is planning to do a giveaway right after the grand finals finishes up. And I think that's gonna be a personal giveaway. I believe it was for a Legacy of the Void.
Yes, actually there's 2. So Legacy of the Void and Overwatch.
Nice. So if you do not have either of those, do be sure to stick around for a little bit longer after the last series, and Riomar will be doing that in the chat.
Yeah, he's a great guy, always donates and helped us out in Germany, and we always talk about him. You guys know him. He's definitely trustworthy.
Yeah, I was weirded out. Riomar was like, hey, you know, send me this message on Skype. He was like, by the way, this is Riomar. I'm one of the mods for BaseTradeTV. I'm like, dude, I know who you are. Like, well, core part of BaseTradeTV, man. Yeah. All right. Well, we do have a fast factory coming up for aLive. It's after the command center and everything, so it's not like a one-base play. But Frost is definitely one of those maps where we saw a little bit of, I guess, like the drop harassment and stuff do some damage in this series. But for the most part, all the harassment was just like the harassment was there. It just didn't really do anything for the early game. And I kind of feel like that was part of New Gettysburg, like the map layout. It's a lot easier to defend those 3 bases. This map on Frost, I feel like it gets a little bit more difficult and a little bit more complex, and making sure you deal with harassment or like drop play on all 3 fronts.
Yeah, I think Frost, it's a good map. It was a balanced map, but it does still have like this third that isn't super easy to defend or take, especially for the slower race that is Protoss. But for everyone really now. But What Am I Drop should never be able to deny a third base. And in fact, if Billowy scouted this, like he had actually gotten in here with a probe or something, he's actually not scouted where his opponent is
Oh.
yet. Which is kind of funny. Then he might even try and take a faster third base. Because you can't kill bases with a What Am I Drop and try and defend with minimal units. But he has no idea what's going on. A What Am I Drop is a pretty good guess, like 50-50, What Am I Drop or like,
Yeah.
you know, a bunch of barracks. But he does need to take it kind of like, okay, gotta have me even in good position for anything. Liberator, What Am I Drop, even Hellions possibility.
Yeah, and I think the pylon over here in the bottom left-hand corner of Billowy's base is just one of those. It's one of those pylons that you have to remember. Every single pylon placement in the early game for Protoss now is very important because of Liberators, because of Widow Mines and everything. You have to place them with a lot of direction, with a lot of pre-planning. So the fact that he's planting one over there kind of just signals to me that he wants it as like a potential, oh, this could be a place to snipe off a medevac as it moves out. But Photon Overcharge already goes down. Gotta be able to kill off one of the Widow Mines. The other one does get burrowed, though.
Woo! It was awkward. He's gonna lose the medevac, I think.
Oh, kills the Stalker.
That was
some of the other ones. Yeah, there's the medevac.
Wow, that was the last shot of the Photon. He didn't even get a second Photon Overcharge for that. That's so... Oh, that sucks. But more important, he didn't get a scout. So the Reaper, it's still alive. He could try and scout and see 5 gateways. This is the same Blink Stalker attack that killed Keen on the same map. But Keen, he under defended initially and then overextended later. That led to his demise. We'll see how aLive takes this. Did he just salvage a bunker? Ooh, whoopsie.
That might be a problem.
Yeah.
aLive, does he actually have enough units to deal with this? Stim is not even finished up just yet, so Marauder's getting flipped fire down, really well controlled so far from Billowy.
He does need the medevacs, and he realizes this is more than just like a little bit of a poke here.
Medevac showing up a bit late to the party over here. Widow Mines might be able to get some good shots off. One good shot softens up a lot of the Stalkers.
Really, he should not be taking this fight. I'm surprised he hasn't pulled back and just pulled the SCVs right now. Okay, now he does, but I think it's too late.
Those SCVs should have been pulled immediately if he was going to do this, but
yeah,
that's it.
That was very odd. It was almost like lazy to watch that happen. I think there was a serious like underestimation of what was going on for the first 30 seconds. Or maybe he just was like, you know what, I'm probably dead. Okay, maybe I should try. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, I think aLive was just like really uncertain about what this attack was, because he even went for the scan. Well, Billowy is going to take the game, but like he went for the scan on the third expansion to like say, wait, did you not take your third? Like he seemed really surprised by it for some reason. I guess the Blink Stalker attacks are like much less common these days, so.
Right. I feel like you never really expect to die to it. You know, I think you expect to take a lot of damage if you don't expect it for sure. If you do expect it, some damage. But this is twice now that Billowy has just been like slice and dice. This wins me games, easy peasy.
I really do feel like it's a meta thing, right? Like, I think especially a lot of Protoss players, yeah, you want to try and be a little bit aggressive with the Stalkers and everything, but I think that Terran players generally look at it as, oh, here's like light bits of aggression from a few Stalkers, and oftentimes a lot of Protoss players will just sit back with their Stalkers after there's been a Widow Mine job, because you're anticipating the Liberator follow-up. So the Stalkers are back at home, and that might be why he like salvaged the bunker. He's like, oh yeah, my Liberator is going to be coming out soon or something, like, or this is the time a Liberator would be coming out. He's probably going to be sitting back at home. I can just take my third, like I can salvage my bunker to get those minerals back a little bit earlier on. But we are going to be hopping into the next game, which is going to be on King Sejong Station for game number 3. Remember, this is a best of 5, so it's only tied up 1-1, and we're bound to get at least 2 more games. So we'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in game number 3. Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have the red Terran player from Africa Freaks. It's aLive.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, he is Billowy.
I've been seeing more Protoss players that just, with their, it's like a really, really small thing. But they make their gas geyser with their probe and they don't send it back to mining minerals. They just like leave it there until the gas geyser finishes up. It really annoys
that
me.
Too.
Like,
there's also some Protosses that would rally into a building assimilator and have like 3 stacked up, and I'm like, you're a pro gamer. What are you doing?
Yeah. I kind of understand the whole like building the assimilator and waiting for the probes to finish mining there, because like I think some players think like, oh well, I'm already at 16 of 16 saturation. Like, look at this, he's doing it. Okay, well, yeah, he's doing it again. Billowy is doing it again with this probe. And it's like, look, I know that you think that you're max saturation right now, but you do get an additional benefit from 17 through 24 of your probes. It's like not as good, but it's still an improvement in economy.
Yeah, it's a very, very small thing, and it's like mostly a joke to be like, why, you're a pro gamer, what are you doing? But it's also, I think, a lot of the time that like extra half a second of time where you might miss pulling your probe immediately to the gas geyser is important, and also just something to be said about what's the word, like efficiency in your own actions, not efficiency through mining. You know, like you don't have to worry about putting the probes back on so you can micro the stalker that's out in the middle of the map or something like that.
That's true. Either way, Billowy is going to be going for an early adept, and that's nice because he's going to get some scouting information that he hasn't necessarily gotten in most of the other games. But Command Center is just going to be going down behind this factory starport. Nothing super crazy or different, because guess what? We have a Widow Mine drop! Oh my god,
Surprising.
Yeah, right?
It's so good though, the Widow Mine drop. The only thing it's bad at is, the follow-up of a Blink Stalker attack can be tricky because you are delaying your barracks production, clearly.
Oh.
But that's still something that can be dealt with like bunkers and good positioning.
Adept make his way into the main base. His supply depot's down. May even kill off a worker or two, but this seems like a really, really small thing, but even damaging that Widow Mine, if it doesn't get repaired back up, I gotta say, like, it makes it easier to deal with, because that's one less hit you need. And when Widow Mine's objectives are to burrow before they get detected, that does matter.
Everyone look, they're supply blocked. Everyone look. They're both supply blocked.
Oh my god. Well, pylon and supply depots are finishing up, but...
Oh, but no, they're 15 seconds too late, man. They messed up.
Inefficiencies everywhere. Are they even pro gamers? Take away their licenses.
Right? It's this Diamond League tournament with random scrubs. I swear.
It wasn't planned at all.
This is pretty early robotics phase. Is this going to be a disruptor drop? It's coming out with like the Warp Prism.
This is definitely really greedy. He's sitting on 1 warp gate. Is he going to take a lot of damage to this drop? And also the Marines pushing at the front?
Might.
Fortune overcharge goes down. Yeah, and he has
all
the gateway units.
Initially.
All the gateway units are at the natural, so he should be okay.
Ooh, disruptor drops. Ooh, disruptor drops. Ooh, okay.
I haven't seen this for a while.
Yeah, I feel like this is... Well, first of all, I feel like it's a very North American thing to do, because like Puck was like the first one doing it, but it's also just... It's so risky. It really is a literal hit or miss unit, and especially if you use it offensively, it's such an expensive unit to get so early on. If you don't get the SCV kills or you don't get the army hits and they attack you, it feels useless.
The Widow Mine drops! The Widow Mine drops, obliterating the mineral in the main base. When did that even happen? The Marines were busy trading rest of the Stalkers, and Billowy didn't notice it either. 16 workers.
Yeah. I did say that, like, the Mothership Corps denied it for now, but damn, I didn't expect to get 16 workers. At most, I thought maybe 8. That's one of the biggest Widow Mine hits I've seen in a while. That's brutal. That was exactly what aLive wanted.
Well,
and now the Disruptor drop, it really needs to do something.
Yeah, but that's the nice thing about Disruptor drop. It is the playmaker unit of StarCraft, like the biggest playmaker unit. If you can turn around a game, it's with a Disruptor more than anything else, I think, in the game.
Well, the Viking's gonna help, but that is a speed Warp Prism. So it can get out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's still a build, like, you delay so much The third Nexus only just now coming down. Of course, you know, Blink isn't already started, and actually going for Colossus will further delay that advancement in technology.
That's 10.
Yeah, he's already made it up.
Yeah. He's ahead, I would say, like with a faster third expansion. Oh, okay, his third expansion isn't faster since the orbital commands finish up and just landing, but yeah, I would say he's definitely more than made it up.
Well, almost. I'm still really worried for his overall army when aLive pushes. But it's not like he's running away with it either. He's still getting his production and still waiting on his upgrades.
Yeah, but I mean, like, his army supply is ahead of aLive's by a small bit, and he's getting Colossus out. I think it's more just about the fact that, like, when his gateways finish up, as long as he doesn't get hit before his warp gates finish up, I think he's going to be able to have a big spike in production.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine, too. It's just that fear of, like, it looks like a very heartless swarm composition right now, where you're relying on a couple of key units protected by Blink Stalkers.
Yeah.
And Blink Stalkers will die very quickly to bio. So I'm thinking, like, aLive with a Concave might be able to take a good trade here. But he's not dealing with the Disruptor drops yet. Disruptor drop. Not even 2. Despite having Missile Turret and a Viking. It's keeping him back at home.
How do you usually deal with the Disruptor drop?
I like Widow Mines. So like Missile Turrets are fine and, you know, necessary to get the last 2 hits on the Warp Prism, but the Viking will never be able to catch it.
Yeah.
All it'll do is send it back, but the Widow Mine is it's hidden. So, and that's like a ton of damage to the Warp Prism that makes them really reconsider coming back into the natural mineral line.
Yeah. Well, Disruptor comes back in, is gonna be able to get another good hit, 2 kills, just here and there, consistently getting the damage done.
Yeah. aLive is starting to really get good splits, but it's like, yeah, it's never-ending damage. You know, he's not killing the Warp Prism, he's not killing the Disruptor. And it's keeping him back so long. I mean, I think ideally you're out on the map with 1-1 and Stim, at least, and hopefully pressuring, and now he's just not doing anything.
This has worked out really, really well for him. Gravitic Booster's getting the Observer speed upgrade. That's interesting.
Whoa.
I always think of the Observer speed upgrade as like the anti-upgrade. It's the upgrade that sends your observers in ahead of your entire army, so they end up dying first usually.
Yeah, like versus Zerg, I can definitely see that happening all the time.
Occasionally versus Terran with Widow Mines, though. Occasionally. I've had observers set off Widow Mines before because they scan.
Makes sense.
All right, well, 4th expansion coming up behind this for Billowy. I really am liking Billowy's position. His upgrades aren't stellar just yet, but he's getting +2 weapons finished up and is getting up +1 armor. So he's not going to be too far behind in upgrades. Just a little bit, but that Disruptor drop is still active, and I feel like he's gotten up a good composition that the Viking count's not that high. His Colossus are going to be able to do a lot.
Yeah. I'm worried for aLive now. This is really just like, it's gone past the point of like, well, Billowy's got like a small army, but a good one too. He has a good army and a well-sized one too, and he can also start whipping in adepts to cover even more. Oh, finally! It's lucky.
Yeah. I mean, Disruptor losing it obviously in the Warp Prism does suck, but it did its damage. It already killed off, what, 15 workers? Probably killed off a couple, like, Marines here and there.
Yeah. It was quite good. And, of course, the most important thing was that it did buy all of this time. So aLive would probably have been better off just realizing he's kind of lost that mid-game momentum that Terran can have. And maybe should have just gone for, like, a 4th command center and, you know, maybe even, like, a 3rd starport, like we saw from Keen in that one game. But instead, he is just producing a lot on 3 bases for a lot longer. I mean, it's 5 Mirages at the time and 4 Vikings. He will have a sturdy anti-Colossus army, but by that time, Billowy might have Storm and Archons.
It feels like aLive is putting all of his eggs into this basket of, I'm gonna take a good engagement, because with a good engagement, he has superior army supply. He has a decent Viking count now, and he can take and like decimate Billowy's army, but none of that happens! Oh my god!
Wow, right in the heart of the army, jeez. I mean, at least it doesn't affect his Viking count, but damn.
Oh my god. Well, that just dropped the army supply by like 20. It's
It
even
was pretty
supplies
big.
now.
Yeah, there are a couple of Archons. Those are actually from DTs. I thought there was a Templar Archives. There's not, so not close to Storm at all. But Archons are still very important. Like, something to stop the Vikings from just, like, migrating in a ball on top of your Colossus. And, I guess Charge, but that's something.
aLive is pushing on in, and Zealot's being warped in. That's sort of interesting with Charge, I guess, still finishing up, but Nexus does get sniped off, and that might be aLive's best choice, is snipe off the Nexus, leave, and try and take a fourth while you get up your own tech.
Yeah. Still worried about his army. Like, without Ghosts, it's always going to be a little worrying, but his Viking count is good. He gets a concave. Billowy might overextend here.
That might be what Billowy is doing right now. This is not exactly the best angle for the Colossus to be at, because the Vikings can attack from over the cliff.
Ooh, the Colossus. There you go. This is a base trade.
This is a very weird base trade. There's...
I'm not sure how this is going to go. The Vikings all came back to deal with the Colossus, but the Stalkers are with them, so he might just lose his Vikings. There's some Liberators now, too.
Are all the Liberators sieged up in the exact same area?
Yeah, it looks like... Yeah, exactly. I think aLive's got this.
Yeah, he's gonna end up taking out all the Colossus with the Vikings, I think, because
Wow.
the Liberators kill off almost every single Stalker. There's no way that one Stalker's gonna be able to kill these guys off. The DTs may be a saving grace, though.
No,
GG.
yeah. Wow. Wow. Did we lose this?
aLive takes a 2-1 lead in this best of 5, and brings it to the final game.
Yeah. Thanks to Gareth Lewin. Never been able to say your name. 6 months in a row. Hope we're well soon. Twitch Cop, scatter.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna hop into a short little break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you guys in a little bit with the potentially last game. All right, here we are in game number 4, ladies and gentlemen. But first of all, big shout out to the man, the head honcho himself, Rifkin. Thank you so much for the 14-month resub. Enjoy that extra money you're losing from your paycheck to Twitch. Question mark. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, spawn down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the blue Terran player from Africa Freaks. Give it up for aLive.
And top left as the red Protoss is Billowy.
And of course, just a big shout out and reminder that if you guys want to support the Olimoleague, if you want to see more of it, if you're enjoying the broadcast, go check out her Patreon. It's patreon.com/Olimoleague. The money mostly goes toward the tournament prize pool, and it's a great way to support the Korean scene, especially if you are one of those people that says, like, why don't they have global events and everything? The Koreans don't have anything besides GSL and SSL to play in, and besides Pro League. It's like, well, Olimoleague is one of the common weekly tournaments that you guys can easily throw support to, so do be sure to check it out. With that being said, also want to remind you guys that Riamar is going to be doing the giveaway for both Legacy of the Void and Overwatch after this Grand Finals. But let's talk about this game, because we already have a one base build coming out from aLive.
Yeah, maybe trying to capitalize on that momentum of almost having won the series, being up one game. Wanting to get it over and done with quick and easy. Also, the Woodmine's got a lot of damage done last game, so he's maybe hoping for a second success.
If I do it again, they'll never expect it. Well, no, there's a tech lab being built on the factory. It's not just a Woodmine drop.
I know what he's gonna do. He did this before. Oh wait, did he? He might have faced a Protoss earlier on. One of the first series, but it was against a guy we didn't really know.
Okay, but the supply depot was down. Explain to me what it is in a second, but the supply depot was down, so he saw the tech lab finishing up, and he saw that it wasn't on the starport, he saw that it wasn't on the barracks, so Billowy might know, but what does this lead into?
So, it leads to that tank push, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we were wrong with aLive not playing against the Protoss, but yeah, Woodmine drop. Hopefully does some damage, but ideally you just keep the medevac alive, as always, but especially here. And then you push with tanks and a couple of SCVs. And if they over-dedicate to one defense, you know, they mess up in the Woodmine because they think about the tanks. They mess up the tanks because they think about the Woodmine. they're gonna lose. It's
Oh.
a very powerful, cheesy little push.
Oh, he kills one of the observers. There's still another observer, but it's making its way across the map, but he's gonna have 0 detection for the Widow Mine, which got picked up for some reason, I guess.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, another observer's coming out.
Well, I guess he's keeping us alive. This is added army on top of his already great army supply. Very positional army, but it's already coming across the map, and Billowy hasn't done anything to stop it, so it's gonna be able to siege up.
Oh, this is gonna be a huge problem for him. There's only one pylon at the front as well. He's trying to build a second pylon close to his natural expansion, but I don't know if that really is going to be a great positioning for it, because the Liberator is still going to be sieging up that ramp. Any units that try and come down the ramp are going to be hit by the Liberator, and probably most of them are going to get taken out.
Yep, that's the last Splendid Overcharge for a while, actually, ever. If this Mothership... What are you doing, Mothership?
Was it just like sacrificial Mothership? Set the Widow Mine off on the siege tank? Maybe it'll kill it off?
Yeah, maybe. It might have just been connected with the hotkeys to those adepts. That was really bad. Okay, yeah, it probably wasn't gonna help anymore, but the chance of getting like one more overcharge, I think, was better than what it ended up doing, which is nothing.
Yeah, well, looks like the Nexus is gonna go down. Probes being pulled. He can afford to lose some of the probes, and the probes do get on top of the siege tank, getting a surprising amount of damage done. But GG gets called aLive, takes it and takes the series 3-1.
What a cheese! What a game. That does mean it's the end of the Olimoleague, so we're gonna go to our last commercial break, in which I believe Remar will be giving away the Legacy of the Void key, and then as we wrap it up, he'll give away the Overwatch key. So pay attention to chat while you watch the commercials.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in for the 65th Olimoleague. This has, of course, been a very long-running tournament, over a year. And it's been pretty freaking awesome. It was a cool day. Got to see some good TvPs. I'm sure you were happy. Was there a single matchup that didn't have a Terran player, Zombie Grub?
Nope. Feels good.
Cool. Feels good, man. But that is going to be it. So big congratulations again to aLive, as I'll update the overlay. Took the series 3-1. But I want to give some shout outs one more time. Again, the Olimoleague is run by the wonderful, wonderful admin, Olivia. So if you guys want to check out and support the Olimoleague, go check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Olimoleague, Olimoley. I think that's how you spell it, because spelling words out loud is much harder than spelling them on paper. But of course, it is also sponsored by Twitch Korea, so do send them some love as well if you like it. If you're a Korean player or someone who speaks Korean, maybe you can stream on Twitch and stream in Korean. I'm sure that they will very much appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cool. You want to talk about the BaseTradeTV sponsors, or where people can catch you at?
Yeah. First, I have to admit our, transparency and how bad we are at commercials. Yeah, Remo's also giving away his keys right now, so pay attention to chat. But also pay attention to the channel. I guess if you're in the chat, you're on the channel page. So if you look down below, you can see all our sponsors. Real quick, of course, we have Your Wood watches still. If you do end up, wanting a nice looking watch, it'll contribute to another tournament just like the Yord Civil War tournaments. So you'll be contributing and getting something nice in return, and you can use the code to get some cash off. There's G2A, use code BASE to get 3% off. Corsair Gaming, look down below at the links if you're interested in headsets, keyboards, anything like that. Use the link, help us out. And then finally, we do have Chairs for Gaming, our longest running sponsor, and use code BaseTradeTV for $20 off and free shipping to the United States and Canada. And I guess actually last, not a sponsor, but rather Amazon. Links are down below as well. Just click on it, costs you nothing extra. Just gives a portion of your whatever you buy to me specifically. And with the sponsors and stuff all done, I guess thanks for watching the Olimoleague. But we did have Rifkin join us in chat for just the tiniest little bits. He was injured, so he'll be gone for at least 2 weeks. He'll probably be gone longer when it comes to observing and streaming, but hopefully he'll come back to casting after that. But we are, looking for, I guess, maybe helping him with some, financial problems that have been caused by such a huge accident. So if you're looking to support him, through monetary means, I guess check out our Twitter, of course, the BaseTradeTV Twitter. Follow the channel. Follow me on Twitter @CG Gaming, and Fear Dragon, you can go now.
Yeah, you can check me out at FearDragon64. I want to emphasize this because I know that Rifkin was somewhat mildly upset about the fact that people kept assuming this. I want to emphasize this because Rifkin, I know you're listening. I'm doing this for you, man. This is not a Pokemon Go related accident. This was not a Pokemon Go related accident. He did not have his phone out during this whole thing. So don't worry, it was not that to blame. And I think someone else asked a really good question, which I just really quickly wanted to address before we close things up. What exactly did aLive win? He won 150,000 won, which I think, if I do the translation correctly, that's around like close to 125, 130-ish dollars, almost $150. And also won points that qualify or help qualify him toward the Olimoleague monthly finals. So that's freaking awesome. And I'm pretty sure those monthly finals also go toward the number of like the players that get invited to the offline finals that will end up happening at the end of the year. So
Yep. And by winning in the Olimoleague, he's basically guaranteed a spot in the monthly.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we're gonna be doing the rebroadcast in a little bit, so have a good one, guys.